Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and I'm really excited to bring you my interview with Chef Vaughn Good from Night Goat Barbecue in Kansas City, Missouri. This one's great because number one, chef's just a cool guy, and it's really, really interesting to hear his story. And a lot of people might know him from Hank's Charcuterie in Lawrence, Kansas, and from his restaurant Fox and Pearl. Night Goat Barbecue is working out of Fox and Pearl. It's on Sundays. Chef Vaughn Good is a James Beard nominated chef. He's also deeply in the world of charcuterie. And if you look at his website and you look at his Instagram, you can see that he thinks differently, thinks outside the box, and his food looks incredible, and Night Goat Barbecue looks incredible. We talk all about the inception and how this started, and how he got the name, and what he's serving on a daily basis, as well as the specials and different things that he twists in. These pastrami beef ribs, if you look at the intro on the YouTube, is ridiculously beautiful. Night Goat Barbecue is only Sundays. It's from 10 to 2. You can now dine in and eat there. You can order there, or you can call ahead. If you look at their Instagram, I'll put their Instagram below. They always post our numbers. You can call in for a pre-order, or you could email them for a pre-order, or you could order it on Sunday. And they do have food on Sunday that isn't reserved. He's also getting a primitive pit too, so he'll be adding to capacity and the different ways that he cooks. I know you're really going to dig this. I know you really enjoy this, and it's going to be another option when you do head to Kansas City. Again, that's Night Goat Barbecue. Chef, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. The Kevin's BBQ Joints podcast and YouTube show is brought to you by Centex Smokers. You can check them out at Centex_smokers on Instagram. Give him a DM, get a quote. He's right now about 4 to 5 months. But look at his Instagram, follow it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Again, that's Centex Smokers. If you're enjoying these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out. I'm doing about 2 or 3 of these per week. I have a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. I'm at Kevin's BBQ Joints on all the social media. But at the end, stay safe. We're getting closer. Have a good week. Good morning, Chef. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's the mood like right now in Kansas City? What's the overall? Are restaurants starting to see more business? Are people coming out and doing stuff?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I think in the last 3 weeks or so, you could definitely see a visible change in people's mood. And I'd say our, business is coming back. The weather's changed, so it's
True.
open patios up. So that helps a lot, giving us a lot more seating. I think there's still a big section of the community that isn't wanting to come inside and eat yet, so
It'll get there. I think it's starting to.
Yeah.
For the first time in like the last month or so, I felt like, okay, we're turning the corner, at least life-wise, and then I think we'll have a better handle, and our country is doing a pretty darn good job at vaccinating, so that's really, really
right.
makes me feel good. So I want to talk. So let's just first start off. I want to hear a little background so people can get to know who you are. Were you
Okay.
born and raised in Kansas City?
Not born, but mostly raised.
Okay.
I was born in Oklahoma, and I was raised in Lawrence, Kansas, which is 30 minutes outside of Kansas City.
And what was that upbringing like? Is it like at the time, was it more small town, or was it like a pretty good sized city at the time?
It's kind of in between. Lawrence is where KU is.
Okay.
University of Kansas.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
it's a college town.
Were you cooking like at home, or what caught your bug to make you, and were you working at restaurants when you were like 18, 19 years old?
Well, my grandparents were big cooks. Like my grandparents, the Goods, and then my mom was not a cook at all. She's a doctor and has zero cooking skills. So we ate out a lot. So I think I kind of had this good balance of home cook influence and kind of, going out to eat diner influence. And,
What pushed you towards this direction?
I'm not sure. I just kind of became a chef during college. I was working in restaurants and I really liked it, and it just felt natural. And, I got into it and decided to go to culinary school.
When you were working at a restaurant, were you working at an intense restaurant, or a restaurant that was kind of like jovial and cool in the kitchen in the back? Because I'm always curious because I've worked at a couple restaurants and they're different. And it's a different lifestyle too.
It was pretty jovial and chill. It was kind of a neighborhood local restaurant. We did pizzas and a lot of steaks and chops and stuff.
Oh, cool.
I think that kind of got me into cooking. And I went to culinary school, went to French Culinary Institute in New York, which is now ICE, like the International Culinary.
I noticed that it was different.
And I came back to Kansas after that and came back to Lawrence and took a sous chef position at a restaurant. And wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But in culinary school, I kind of got into butchery and charcuterie. I had this professor that really, inspired me. I decided to kind of do my own thing. I was ready to do something, and I opened a little butchery and charcuterie shop in Lawrence that was called Hank's Charcuterie. It was going pretty well, but people wanted food. So I'd have customers kind of come in and ask for sandwiches and see a food menu, and we didn't have one, and they would turn around and leave. Well, I got to change that. And we put a little, like 3 or 4 sandwich kind of menu, and that just way outgrew the butcher shop.
It's interesting how that happens. And were people, was your original clientele people that were really into charcuterie, that kind of understood the craftsmanship about it, or were there just walking business like? And because I know that it got a name for itself too.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a mix. Like we had the destination seekers that were looking for charcuterie and butchery, and then I think it was kind of the off the street people that didn't know quite exactly what they were walking into, that were looking for more of like the dining experience.
How many different types of charcuterie would you have at any given time? I just love charcuterie. I think it's so fascinating.
I don't know numbers wise, but we would usually have like, at least like 15, 20 different kinds of sausage, and, so a selection of hams and some sliced meats. And then we did some raw cuts too, like some chops and things as well.
How long did you have that?
4 years.
Were you planning on changing direction, or what caused it to, was there a reason why it changed direction?
I think just kind of out of necessity, and we were kind of like having a little identity crisis is the best way I think I could explain it. Like we'd switched over to more of a restaurant, but then we were still having people coming in looking for butchery items. And so I felt like I needed to kind of start over with a clean slate.
This isn't at the spot you're at right now, right?
So when we decided to make a move, we moved to Kansas City from Lawrence and did Fox and Pearl.
Was your business partner part of Hank's?
No, well, Hank, I just started, and me and my partner Christine, we'd just gotten kind of together as I was opening the restaurant. Okay. Yeah, and so then she became way bigger part of Fox and Pearl. And
so explain what Fox and Pearl and the location. What was it? It was an old Swiss something. Was it a chalet? Not chalet. It was like an old.
Yeah, it was German? Like, I guess like a lodge.
A lodge. Okay, that's what it was. A lodge.
Yeah, and it was built in 1907, and it was like a Swiss lodge for immigrants working to Kansas City, and it had a restaurant on the main floor, and then lodging on the floor, and then the top floor was like a big ballroom.
That's right. So do you have the whole space?
No, we have the first floor, and then the 2 top floors are still apartments.
They're actually apartments. Okay, cool. So what is that? What is that spiral staircase? Is that a spiral staircase just to?
It goes down to the basement to like another bar and a seating area.
Really, such a cool. Yeah. Like how long did that build out? And when did you guys acquire that spot?
Well, the build out took almost 2 years, maybe like a year and a half.
Wow.
We found the space because some of our friends lived in the neighborhood and they saw it and they were like, you should check it out. So we did, and there was no sign or anything. It wasn't for lease. It was just kind of empty space. And so I found out, through friends, who owned the building, and then we kind of went from there. Yeah.
And was your idea to have like a live fire plus still charcuterie? Did you want to still have that as a component?
Yeah, I did. And I think that when we turned into a restaurant at Hank, it really became us cooking out of the case. It was like trying to use things that we made. So by doing that, I think like charcuterie and, meat obviously became like a main staple of our cuisine cooking.
And it's definitely something that is in your blood, so it's something that you wanted to continue doing.
Definitely.
And how has the response been, and how was it during COVID?
It was good. We had only been open in this location, I think, about 5 or 6 months when COVID hit. So that was a little nerve-wracking. We were new. It was busy, but we were still kind of in that honeymoon period, of opening a restaurant, like being the new guy. And so we were obviously still, popular. So we were worried that, people were going to fight, we would kind of die off in the middle of it. So we just decided to push as hard as we could and, see what would come out of it. And I think it's gone pretty well.
So did you transition to go like a
We
large.
did, yeah. The first, like, I think maybe that was around a month that we were to go only,
Okay.
and maybe it was a little longer. And then we opened up when the city let us open up to 25%. We went ahead and did it right away.
It's so
Went
interesting
for
because
it.
it's so forward because like Los Angeles just Monday of this week opened like of last week opened to 25%. And I
Yeah.
went somewhere. Oh, I went into like just to pick up food to go yesterday, and there were people eating in the restaurant, and it was like this alternate universe. I'm like, oh, I forgot that like this is what it's so sad and so strange.
Totally.
So it's nice that
Yeah.
you were able to weather that storm, and then in the back of your mind, were you thinking, I want to do night goat? Is that night goat? Is that something that you've always wanted to do?
Well, I think I've always kind of had one foot in barbecue, but never really like went all the way. And I think maybe whatever it was, like that kind of second wave or whatever that was happening around the holidays in November and December, we could see, business starting to decline, which would normally be,
Yeah,
super,
the crazy.
busy period. So I wanted to kind of like find a way to encourage more carryout business. And, I've always loved barbecue, and I've something I want to get better at, and I've wanted to push myself on. So I was like, I'm just going to do it and do a barbecue special on Sundays as carryout only. And I did that for a few weeks as just a Fox and Pearl, special.
Yeah.
It was going well. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go for it and kind of give it its own identity.
Smart.
Just so it could, kind of tap into another audience
No,
too.
that's super
It's
smart.
not going to look for barbecue at like, a Midwestern kind of fine dining
Yeah.
restaurant.
And the name Night Goat, could you explain how that came about?
Well, I'm a big fan of like doom metal and like psych rock and stuff. I'm a big fan of the Melvins
Nice.
band.
Yeah. I love that.
And so it's a Melvin song, and I think I was just out like cooking and listening to the Melvins, and I was like, Midnight Goat, that's a great name, And then I smoke at night, and and it's kind of all this like kind of moonlighting, thing I'm doing. So
I should actually write a piece about like funky barbecue names because there's also in Denver. Have you heard of Owlbear?
no,
Yeah, they're owlbear, but owlbear barbecue. But theirs is from like Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's like a mythical owlbear creature that. So,
that's
so then, were you cooking? Did you build a smoker at first? And did you get your primitive pit too? I'm trying to because I know you're going to.
yeah, not yet.
Okay.
I ordered a pit from Primitive in January, and I think it's slated to kind of be done maybe beginning of May sometime,
Okay.
Early May.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm using this pit that I got maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
When I started Hank, I had like a little electric smoker that we were doing everything in, and I outgrew that really fast. And I was thinking about getting like a Southern Pride. Like I like the idea of, just setting it and going. Yeah. At that point we were just doing like bacon, sausage, cured hams and stuff. I wasn't doing any barbecue.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my grandfather about it, and he was like, "Oh, don't do that. Don't do that."
Nice.
He's like, "Come down to Oklahoma." He's like, "I have this friend that builds pits. Like, I'll take you to see him. We'll go check him out.
How cool
and
is
then you
that?
can make a decision, And so I went down there and checked him out and like found this pit and fell in love and kind of went from there.
Oh, that's cool. What type of pit? Like, how big is it? How much can it hold?
Well, it's kind of like a cabinet smoker, like big door in front, and the firebox is like right under the cook chamber. So
Okay.
it's kind of this weird, like almost offset, almost direct, because you still get a lot of heat, radiating straight up. Its capacity, it's pretty large.
Yeah.
I mean, the racks are, I don't know, probably like 3 feet across, and I've got like 5 racks in there.
And so are you cooking, because I want to go over your menu too, and it's
Yeah.
you guys put it on sale on Saturday for pickup on Sunday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it goes live what time on Saturday?
Well, that's kind of how we started. Now we'll take pre-orders from Thursday until, Sunday.
Well, that's good to know. So you take
Well,
pre-orders via phone or via email or what, or how is it?
Via phone or email.
Okay.
We're doing in-house dining now. When we first started, weren't doing in-house. It was just carry out, but now we're letting people order in the restaurant too.
So if they come in on that day, what are the odds on a Sunday, or do they have to pre-order and then they can eat in the restaurant? Or I just want to make sure because people listen to this and be like, I gotta go, and then I want to make sure they get food.
Both is available.
Okay.
We haven't been selling out for pre-orders,
okay.
So it's been cool. If you come in on day when we open at 10, you'll be able to get some barbecue.
And you can get it by the pound, and then do you do plates too and sandwiches, or just by the
pound and plate?
And so what are you offering? Like what are the staples? Because I know that you kind of rotate things, and obviously, which I think would be the killer, is you make sausage from scratch, right?
Yep.
You have to, because that's you. That's in your soul.
Yeah. We always have one sausage or maybe two, and then I've been kind of sticking to pulled pork and brisket.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of throw in some variable things every once in a while. Like this last weekend, I did some pastrami. We've been doing pastrami beef short ribs, which have been insanely popular.
So good.
Yeah.
Do you have specific sides then for Night Goat too?
Yeah.
And what are those sides generally, so people will know?
Kind of been flip-flopping, but we've been doing some cheesy grits lately that I'm making from some locally milled grits from one of our farmers. Beans, slaw, our house-made pickles, and then we use Carmelo tortillas, which is kind of like a big thing for our barbecue, I think.
Yeah. Which ones do you use? I'm
using the pork fat ones.
The pork fat ones?
Yeah.
Because he also has duck.
Duck, and there's an avocado.
Avocado. Because I've been talking back and forth. I'm going to interview him at his, because I think he was growing to jump to a new facility, like a larger facility in December. I think.
He was just in for barbecue yesterday, and I got to talk to him. He came in with Tyler Harp, which was really cool, and I got to sit down and talk to them for a while. And Ruben from Carmelo, he's moving into a new space soon, and they're going to start doing like burrito size tortillas,
smart.
And then he's also going to start doing corn products too.
Really? Oh, good for him. Really good. Yeah, thank you. You're reminding me. After when I was looking at your menu, I'm like, we had talked via DM. He's like, I want to wait till I get to my new facility because and you're drinking a Topo Chico, which is wonderful. So this is sponsored by.
Sorry,
no, it's cool. No, I wish if only it was sponsored by. It's fine. Yeah. It's a labor of love, regardless. Well, and then on what's your menu like at your restaurant too? Because it kind of, there's like your sensibility blends into with that too. You're very heavy on showcasing the farmers that you use.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a big deal, and I wish more restaurants did that, and I think they more are, but it's a weird time. But I think that because without them, there's no food.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think we really started showcasing them during the pandemic, because you could see that people were seeking out local food more. People were eating and cooking at home, and all of our local farmers were doing pretty well, and like home deliveries. Nice. And so we kind of wanted to accentuate that and like let people know that we're using, these people and contributing to the local economy. And
that's rad. That's awesome.
To advance that and, make those local farms, help them grow,
No, it's important. It's important that people seek out restaurants that want to do that, to want to have that connection, and that it's important to them just as much as making a sale or a ticket. Like it's not just that. It's more than that. What are your hours for your restaurant itself?
So our hours at Fox and Pearl are Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
We do dinner service 5 to 10 as we serve food, but we keep the bar open till midnight, Thursday through Saturday, and then Sunday we just do brunch and night goat. And
then for Night Goat again, to get is the best way? Is it through the Fox and Pearl website, or what's the best way?
Yeah, send us an email or give a call and to make a pre-order. And then if you come in for brunch, we open at 10. Then we'll have barbecue. We usually don't sell out through pre-orders.
And then is the menu online for Night Goat, or does it update at a certain time so people know what's coming up?
It's on the Night Goat Instagram.
Okay.
And we'll usually put the menu up like Tuesday or Wednesday of the week up.
Excellent. Yeah. And then do you think that when you get the pit from Primitive, is that just to will you increase the days possibly, or what's the future plans?
Maybe. I think with Fox and Pearl and how active I am still in the kitchen at Fox and Pearl, hard to add another, 12-hour cook day.
You don't want to do that?
I mean, I want to, but time is a little of
Yeah.
an issue. So I think, it'll probably stay the same hours wise,
Hmm.
but I might expand the menu a little more. And I think the new pit will give me that versus the pit I have now. It does well cooking most everything, but it's a little uneven. I'm pendant to like how it cooks. It's great for everything, but maybe not so great for brisket. So when I get the primitive, I'll probably use that for like briskets, long stuff,
Yeah.
And then keep the other pit to do sausage, chickens. It still does fine with like pork butts and ribs and stuff.
So that, yeah, and that's and it'd be interesting to see as time goes by. Are people because Kansas City barbecue is known, it's different. Kansas City
Right.
traditional Kansas City barbecue in people's mind is different. How are people taking to this? Are they or have most of the people that are having this, have they tried that craft style or Central Texas style barbecue?
I mean, I feel like Central Texas style barbecue is really kind of taken over the country, right? And you can find it a lot of places, not in just Texas. So I think, people are hip to it. They know what's up and what we're trying to do.
It's not
so
that
I think
unusual.
It's been fine. I mean, yeah, I've gotten a good reaction. Nobody's been mad that their brisket wasn't sliced on a slicer.
and stacked at a set.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing on your menu right now?
Probably the beef ribs are like my favorite thing to eat. The pastrami beef ribs are great. But my favorite thing to cook has probably been brisket, just because it's been like the thing that I could see the most personal growth and improvement in. So like now I'm pulling briskets that, I'm happy about.
That's cool.
Like,
That's a great feeling, isn't it?
yeah.
And it seems like you're enjoying it, and it's something that you're really digging.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think sometimes being, a head chef of a restaurant and an owner, you get pulled in a lot of different directions. I have to wear a lot of different hats, and some days I feel like almost a little overwhelmed to be in the kitchen because I have to start and stop everything I'm doing all the time to go do something
That makes
else.
sense.
And so I think, being out at the pit for 12 hours is amazing because I can just cook and just worry about cooking.
And like it's like a Zen, almost a meditative type state that
Yeah.
you're just solely focused on that. That's actually a good thing. And like if someone who's watching this or listening to this has a similar life to you and wants to add that component, at least even not even necessarily selling, just to get their headspace and clear their headspace.
Yeah.
I've heard about that from a lot of people that cook, and it becomes it's a ritual that they look forward to.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, just being excited about it and having fun doing it has sort of reinvigorated me a little bit, in other aspects of cooking too.
And then also probably if you did it 4 days a week, it would change the way you feel about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe having these two different hats, so to speak, or two different lives, like that are meshed together. That's kind of cool. That's a fun. I'm really glad to have had a chance to talk to you. What is there anything else that we haven't talked about the restaurants that you want people to know about?
I think we're just gonna keep, going with Night Goat and see where it goes. I'm gonna let it kind of organically grow. My next move, I think, is in the next month or so, and we kind of get through a little bit of the rainy season to move it outside on Sundays. We have a big parking lot, and we're gonna set up out there. And
that's cool.
And kind of move it out there, and then when we get the new pit, it's on a trailer, so I'll be able to pull it out to the parking lot. And I think I'm gonna start doing, random nights of, barbecue pop-ups.
That'll be fun.
And some collaborations. I talked to Tyler yesterday. He was in. We've kind of been talking for a year or more about doing a collaboration. And then the, pandemic hit and life got crazy and that kind of went by the wayside. So I think we're going to push forward and try to find a date and do something.
When I was talking to Tyler once, I know he brought you guys up, and he said that I should go to Fox and Pearl. Like he had said how great your restaurant was, and so that would be a fun. Like Tyler's such a.
Oh, he's such a
what
good
a
dude.
cool he's just like one of the coolest humans around.
I met him through Ruben from Carmelo.
Oh, really?
Because when we were at Hank, Carmelo is from Lawrence too, and they're right across the street. and met Tyler that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Are there any places that you can recommend in Kansas City that are like go-to barbecue spots? Are there any places that you love that you still dig, or like old school places or whatever?
You know, old school, my favorite is LC's, I think,
Hmm.
which he just passed a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. It was pretty sad. And there's a lot of places I haven't been yet. I mean, I've obviously been to Harp. There's some newer kind of craft barbecue places I haven't been to. I just went to Chef Jay's a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's cool. And
He's
that's
only
a
a few blocks away from me, so it was, easy to shoot there for lunch.
oh, that's cool. That's actually a really cool thing because he's over. He's close? Is it? Would that be considered more downtown? Are you downtown too, or is it
We're maybe more downtown, and then he's in the West Bottoms, but which is just a few blocks away from
like
us.
warehousey? Was it kind of, in my mind? I'm picturing it warehousey because he said that there's
Yeah,
that Halloween thing there.
it's a cool area. I mean, it's a bunch of big old, brick multi-story
Right.
buildings and stuff. It's
I
pretty
love
cool.
that. And he's a nice guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's cool. Like it's fun to have that kind of that world that you're part of. Like your feet are in different parts of the world because you're in the chef. And then, is charcuterie a big part of what you're doing still?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We have a box, like a chamber in our basement. When we moved into Fox and Pearl, there was an old wooden walk-in in the basement,
That's
like
cool.
that you just put ice blocks in, kind
Yeah.
of. So we put it together again and lined the inside with stainless steel and sealed it up and put humidifiers and turned it into a charcuterie chamber.
Oh, that's rad. That's really
It's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Can people just get it on the menu, or can you get it? Can people still buy it? Or
When I opened Fox and Pearl, I kind of went away from like having a charcuterie board on the menu and using charcuterie more as like an element within the menu.
Okay,
Like
okay.
throwing things kind of in dishes.
that makes sense.
That kind of made it more fun for me than just kind of putting stuff on a board and like here it is.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's rad. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And that your building looks just killer.
And downstairs in the basement where the charcuterie box is, we do butchery too. So we do a lot of like whole animal butchery for
Oh,
Fox
rad.
and Pearl, which is cool. We kind of stopped getting whole animals when the pandemic hit, just because of volume and hours and
Yeah.
cutting labor and everything. But just a few weeks ago, we started getting whole pigs again. So I'm excited about that, and it'll be cool to see where that kind of like pushes the night goat menu too.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too because a year ago, if I talked to you a year ago, this would be such a different conversation. It's nice to
Yeah.
because it was hard to even see the other side to think like this could just devolve into who knows what. And
Yeah.
it's weird too to like I was watching this is like so off topic, but I was watching something on the news about I don't know. The DA was looking for something and dealing with something, and I kept thinking
Yeah.
it's interesting how as humans how we've kept society together within like this massive crazy pandemic. It's just hard to get my head around, but it's like so nice to see like your face and your things are going well for you. That's oh wow.
Yeah, it's going well. I think we've just tried to project as much optimism
Sure.
as we can. I feel like, things are crazy out there and they're, it's better now. But at a point, there wasn't much to look forward to.
For
And
sure.
I think if we just sort of pressed forward and kept optimistic, then hopefully that would kind of radiate out in the community.
And I think it works in life. Like it does work.
Yeah.
Like being pessimistic. Like it's the shadows draw in on you when you're just a negative
Right.
person.
Totally.
Yeah. And do you guys have merch for Fox and Pearl? Because I'm seeing
We do. Yeah, we have Fox and Pearl merch, and I'm actually talking to somebody tomorrow about Night Goat merch, so
Very
we'll
cool.
hopefully have that pretty soon.
Cool. Well, if you have links to any of that stuff as things grow, I'll promote it. And it's so nice to meet you and to hear your story and to hear what you're doing. It sounds killer. It sounds a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Well, have a great day. Have a good. Don't even know what day of the week it is, but have a nice rest of your week. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kevin. Nice to
Excellent.
meet
Thanks. So very nice to meet you, and have a great week.